Knock, knock. Who's there? It's actually, don't answer the door. You know why? You see, knock, knock jokes are told in a suburban context and therefore disrespectful to people living in urban areas, particularly the inner cities. That's why knock, knock jokes are racist. And so are you. Now, that's obviously an exaggeration, but to me, that seems to be the narrative of today's 2018 social justice warrior liberal. And that's why I am walking away. Now, for those of you who don't know what the WalkAway movement is, it's an online movement started by Russian bots in order to undermine the 2018 midterm election. Actually, no, that's not what it is. It's a grassroots movement started out through social media by people who typically affiliate with the Democratic Party, vote for them, volunteer with them, or at least have liberal viewpoints. And that was me. I'm not Democrat, but definitely left leaning. In the year 2000, I was part of the Ralph Nader campaign. I campaigned for Nader. And in 2000, I was a liberal. And I still am. By 2000 standards, I'm still a 2000 liberal. I believe in clean, renewable energy. I believe in putting a stop to corporate bailouts, what Ralph Nader would call corporate welfare. I still don't believe in unilateral interventionist foreign policy, starting wars that cost us trillions of dollars. That used to be a liberal. Apparently, conservatives feel that way too now. So I'm walking away. I'm part of the WalkAway movement, and I hope that if you are on the fence, left-leaning but tired of what the established left is pushing, you'll join this movement too. Now, why now? What has changed? I can't stand anybody too far to the left or too far to the right, but what has changed? What's changed is what's happening on social media and what's happening on TV. Excuse me. The other day, I saw the first WalkAway video, which is pretty new, but has already gotten hundreds of thousands of hits, and people are supporting this. I was so taken aback by that. What I did is I put a link on my Facebook page to the song Walk Away, Renee by the Four Tops. Great song. I put it on there, and then I looked, it showed up at the top of my news feed. And then I edited the post to put the Walk Away hashtag on there, and suddenly it disappeared from my news feed. And I'm thinking, maybe Facebook is conspiring. Looks that way to me, but I can't tell. But I do know that YouTube, if you, around, I don't know if it was the same day or the day before, you click on the YouTube icon and it takes you to a live feed of Barack Obama speaking in South Africa. I had the great displeasure of, for the first time in my life, seeing a bad Obama speech. He's so shaken up by the fact that a Republican is popular. Even his speeches aren't good anymore, and that's saying a lot. But also on Facebook through friends of mine. And I still consider you to be my friends if you're watching this, even if I have unfollowed you, even if I have snoozed you for 30 days because I can't stand your political postings anymore. I still consider you a friend with so much animosity. Everybody's an expert on foreign intelligence and saying the Russians are undermining our elections. And there's also this stuff with Sarah Sanders being kicked out of a restaurant just for being who she was with her family and supporting it because of who she is. And the amount of personal attacks, and coupled with the 4th of July just happening a couple weeks ago, and I live overseas now, so the 4th of July means so much to me, and I go on and I want to see fireworks, and I want to see Patriots, and I want to hear the Star Spangled Banner, and we can criticize America tomorrow, and I'm just seeing all this horrible stuff said about America. Meanwhile, here in Peru, everybody's wishing me a happy Independence Day. So that got me to the point where I really want to speak up. Some of you know who I am, and hopefully the hundreds of thousands of people who are going to see this video also agree with me. But what has gone on in the media, beyond just social media? Now, I was a journalist once upon a time, never reached the heights of the worldwide or nationally televised, but I do know one thing, is that a President Hillary Clinton is a great human interest story, a woman president, former first lady. Not only that, but the cable news networks have decades and decades of Hillary Clinton footage from as far back as the 80s, maybe even the 70s, that they can show on reruns. So a President Hillary Clinton equals ratings. So for no other reason, that's what they want to see. And the celebrities have jumped on the bandwagon too, and talked enough about the Kathy Griffin thing, holding a severed Donald Trump's head, not a real one, holding Donald Trump's head like it should be severed, endorsing what the terrorists are doing in the Middle East, severing people's heads, and then George Lopez urinating on the star on the Walk of Fame, pretending to do it is funny, but you're pissing on public property. You're not spreading a message of any kind. And there's that other actor, I don't remember his name, nor do I care, advocating that people do horrible things to Donald Trump's son. It's time for people who have a rational sense about themselves to speak up, and that's me. That's me. That's us. I want to be part of this movement. I've been watching these videos the last couple of days. I've been so taken aback by people who seem like they're so angry about what's happening, but so matter of fact. And I know my video is not the best video out there. Certainly not the best video quality. I don't know where you people are getting your equipment, but I want to know. But about Donald Trump, he is not exactly a hero of mine, but he is the leader of this movement. Even if he didn't start it, even if he's not part of it, he's still the leader, because Donald Trump is the one who exposed a lot of things. First of all, the intolerance of the Republican Party is gone. Now, President Bush himself didn't push an intolerance narrative, but he was an evangelical, and he pushed that. He brought all the evangelicals with him. Now, Donald Trump has Sean Hannity behind him, but even Sean Hannity is not talking the moral majority anymore. He's not talking about Jerry Falwell. He's simply talking about jobs. He's talking about the economy. And he's even talking about the economy as African-American employment, Hispanic employment. All of a sudden, the Republicans and even the far-right loonies are the ones pushing this narrative of equality. And when nobody wins unless everybody wins. It's a drastic change that a few years ago you had to be a screaming liberal Democrat to believe. And now the Republicans are taking that and left the Democrats with these far left people who just want to accuse the president of conspiring with Russia. And if you have some intel, show us the intel. But you've got nothing. We know that. But this is personal for me, because on election night, now I didn't support Trump or Clinton. I supported Gary Johnson, and I wanted him to be the president, and that wasn't going to happen. But on election night, a Facebook friend of mine, who's no longer a Facebook friend, no longer a friend, no longer anybody to me, posted something: if Donald Trump wins the election, the Ku Klux Klan is going to take over the country. And so I responded, I thought it was a joke. And if Hillary wins? And he wrote back with some scathing, nasty, foul stuff about calling me we knew each other in high school. You were a dirtbag, and I guess I had long hair and listened to heavy metal. I guess I still listen to heavy metal. As far as the other thing, I really don't have a choice anymore. But I would if I could. And so I private messaged him. What's gotten into you? What's wrong with you? And he went off, and you can curse at me all you want, but he was making racial slurs against my wife, who she's Peruvian, and sexual things that, if I could reach through the screen, I would. And the thing is, I'm still friends with his brother. I'm still friends with his cousin on Facebook. We were friends back then. I like to think we still are. But it got so personal with me that the left wing is so intolerant. Meanwhile, the right is closer to center than ever. That I think it's time that those who identify as liberals ought to at least walk away from the Democrat Party until they can put out a candidate who doesn't push this anti-Trump nonsense. And there's never Trumpers and all these people who just want to get themselves out there. I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this to support these videos of people who are so different than I am demographically, but we think so much the same about the United States and how I miss it, and I wish I could be part of it. But what now? What are we going to have some notes here? I don't know. Some of you posting these videos, I don't know how you do it without notes, but they're excellent. Anyway, what now? Think about 7 years ago. Jon Stewart hosted the rally to end the insanity, I think it was called. And it was so great. I mean, it was millions of people who showed up in Washington to just stop talking about these hot button issues. I remember thinking President Obama should love this. Hopefully he'll show up and make a cameo. Problem is, President Obama was in Connecticut at a political fundraiser that day. And that was one of many disappointing moments for President Obama. Speaking of President Obama, I canvassed for him in 2008. I remember when I voted for him, I had the ballot and the envelope. Hey, where do I go with this envelope? Yeah, this one is mine. The one that says Obama, Barack Obama. This one right here. Yeah. And then 4 years later, I voted for him again. I'm like, just get this thing out of my hands, will you? So I am, I'm proud to share a biological classification with a fine Homo sapien like Barack Obama. As far as him as president, I liked him. I don't know why, but I'm pretty sure there's a good reason why I liked him. Ex-President Obama, he can, if he's in South Africa, let him stay there for a while and let him go back where he came from, Honolulu. But his time has come and gone. I appreciate his service to this country, but that's it. He pushed the Hillary Clinton narrative. Hillary corrupted him, corrupted his presidency, corrupted his administration, and corrupted his integrity by the way he has pushed for her, and will not grant concession to the fact that Donald Trump is doing great things for the United States of America. I'm by no means a blind faith follower of Donald Trump, but he has done things for the country that go far beyond his own personal interests. And I admit, I grew up in the 80s in New York. I like big, exaggerated personalities, and he is that. I do get a testosterone fix. I'm a former Marine, so seeing James Mattis as our Secretary of Defense instead of that bureaucrat Ash Carter running things, that gives me my testosterone fix. My itsy bitsy teeny weeny retirement account is up 30%. I can probably pay a full semester if I want to go back to Cortland. So what now? I've made it so far. I've redone this video so many times. What to do now? I really don't know, but please keep watching these videos, whether it's mine or these others, the stories that are being told. It's such a much different perspective on America that I hope that this opens the dialogue so that being an American no longer means being liberal or conservative, red state or blue state. I remember hearing a great speech about that. I hope we, as the WalkAway movement, could be the ones to tell the people, yes, we can, and we'll make America great again. Thank you.